I'm here in New York with Shiza Shahid, who's the founder of the Malala Fund. I'm sorry, I might have just butchered your last name. Can you tell us a little bit about what the Malala Fund is and what you hope to accomplish?
Sure. The Malala Fund is a nonprofit organization that believes in a world where every girl is in school and empowered with the skills to improve her life and be a change maker in her community. And it comes really from Malala Yousafzai's vision, which is that every girl have access to a quality education.
And so just for people who may need a little reminding, who is Malala and how do you know her?
Malala grew up in the Swat Valley. She was an education campaigner starting the age of 11. And really she was saying, I want to go to school, which was a political statement in the Swat Valley where the Taliban had banned female education. I mentored her very early on, and she became very close to me as someone that I believe is a younger sister and also just an immense icon for peace and girls' empowerment. And she was shot in the head by the Taliban on her way home from school last year. She survived after an intense period of recovery and then went on to become an icon for girls' rights globally. And I've had the privilege of being by her side and helping her build a movement that hopefully will get girls into school.
And the Malala Fund started more basically, when she had been shot and she was sick, you were involved in trying to get her the best possible medical care and managing the press circus that sort of grew around that, and that sort of was the genesis of this.
Well, yeah, I went in because I was just so broken at her shooting and wanted to be there. And the story had exploded internationally. This young girl who'd been fighting for girls' rights, so brutally targeted, the world was riveted. And everyone wanted to know who she was and what gave her this courage. And there was a lot of press trying to get in touch with her. So I stepped in to give her the space to allow her to recover. And while I was there by her side, she woke up and said, I want to continue my campaign. And it was clear that she could now help the world in a way that she hadn't been able to before. And so my role really became, how do we think about leveraging her voice in a way that's effective, that brings focus to the issues that matter, and creating a platform that drives all this energy around Malala into meaningful action.
And why is girls' education, in particular girls' education, so important, not just in Pakistan, but around the world?
Well, we believe that girls are the most powerful force of change in the world. If you can invest in a girl between the ages of 10 to 14, before she is married and becomes pregnant, you prevent her from falling into poverty, but also you give her choice over when she marries, when she has children, and the ability to earn an income. And we know that 90% of every dollar that a woman earns, she invests back into her family, as opposed to 30 to 40% for men. So not just is this a moral imperative, but from a developmental perspective, it's the single most powerful intervention that we can make.
And your fund has just started raising some money. You've had investments from the World Bank, from Brad and Angelina Pitt, but that's not been your focus so far. Going forward, you're hoping to raise some money and do what with that briefly?
You know, we have really taken our time to allow Malala to recover, but also to spend our time having conversations with smart people in this space who are trying many different ways to get girls into school. Because for us, it's about figuring out how to have impact, and it's a complex issue. It's not a simple solution. And when you say, I want to solve girls' education globally, that requires bringing together the smartest people and getting them to collaborate, to gather insight and shed light on that insight. As an organization, we have 3 focuses of our strategy. The first is finding bright, promising entrepreneurs in the developing world who are getting girls into school and building their assets. The second is advocating for wider adoption of the solutions that we think are effective. And the third is continuing to tell the stories of girls who we believe are the most powerful force of change.
And on that third point, there's a new book out. Do you want to tell us a little bit about this book?
Yes. So the book is called I'm Malala, again in response to the Taliban's question of who is Malala. And you know, we knew everyone wanted to know Malala's story, and there were many different ways to go about it. But the best way would have been for Malala to take a year and really write it in her own words. And so that's what she did as she was recovering, starting in the hospital, continuing on the weekends during her time at school, and really hoping that this will be an advocacy tool that will inspire other girls who are struggling for their rights and also shed light on the plight of girls globally.
So we have just time for one more question. You left a pretty great job to go do this. You were at McKinsey in Dubai, and you're now doing this full time. So what would it take for you to say, I've succeeded? If you fast forward 3 or 4 years, what would say, I've done it. I've succeeded. I've moved the rock.
In the broader picture, it's about changing the framework. When I start to hear people saying that girls' education is not just about school, but about empowering girls with the skills and assets that they need to succeed in the hardest places in the world, and when we start seeing innovation accelerate the delivery mechanisms for that, whether it be through tablets or computers or traditional schools, that's when we'll know we've succeeded.